It starts with a phone call. It's 2010 in Long Island, New York. A young woman named Shannon Gilbert is running through a gated community near Gilgo Beach. Terrified, screaming into the phone, "They're trying to kill me." Minutes later, she vanishes into the darkness. When police begin to search for her, they have no idea they're about to uncover one of the largest and most chilling crime scenes in American history. Over the next year, investigators would find the remains of at least 11 victims, mostly young women, scattered along a lonely stretch of Ocean Highway. And what began as a search for one missing woman would reveal a serial killer who stalked the shadows for over a decade. This is the Long Island serial killer unmasking the LISK. The first discovery came on December 11th, 2010, when a police officer with his K9 unit searched the brush near Ocean Parkway, close to Gilgo Beach. His dog caught a scent, leading him to what appeared to be human remains wrapped in burlap. It was later identified as Melissa Barthelemy, a 24-year-old woman who had disappeared the year before. Within days, police found 3 more bodies: Megan Waterman, Amber Lynn Costello, and Maureen Brainerd Barnes, all young women who worked as escorts and had gone missing between 2007 and 2010. All 4 were found in a similar condition, carefully wrapped in burlap, positioned near each other, suggesting one killer with a methodical, organized approach. The press quickly gave him a name: the Long Island serial killer, or simply LISK. At first, investigators thought the search for Shannon Gilbert had accidentally exposed the work of a serial predator. But soon, questions began to rise. Was Shannon one of his victims, or something else entirely? Police expanded their search across the thick marshland and sandy stretches of Gilgo Beach. Over the next months, they discovered more human remains: partial skeletons, skulls, torsos, and limbs, some belonging to women, one to a toddler, and another to a man. The total count rose to 11. Some had been missing for years, their cases long forgotten. But now, the pieces began to form a horrifying pattern. Most of the victims were young women who had advertised escort services online, primarily through Craigslist. They were last seen meeting clients, then vanished without a trace. Whoever the killer was, he knew how to hide in plain sight: smart, calculating, careful. He understood police procedure, used disposable phones, and left almost no forensic evidence. Detectives began to suspect the killer wasn't just random. He might be someone with law enforcement knowledge, someone familiar with investigation tactics, or even part of the community itself. One of the most haunting elements of the case was the phone calls. After Melissa Barthelemy disappeared in 2009, her younger sister began receiving a series of anonymous phone calls from a man mocking her, describing in graphic detail what he had done. The calls were traced to Midtown Manhattan, always from crowded areas, always short, and always precise enough to avoid detection. The voice was calm, confident, and cruel. Whoever it was, he was taunting the family and enjoying it. Meanwhile, the search for Shannon Gilbert continued. Her disappearance didn't fit perfectly with the other victims. She wasn't found in the same area, and her cause of death was unclear. In 2011, her remains were found nearly a year after she went missing, deep in a marsh, less than half a mile from where she was last seen. Police initially ruled her death an accident, claiming she was disoriented and drowned. But her family and many others believed otherwise. Her frantic 911 call, her desperate escape, and her proximity to the other bodies suggested something more sinister. Shannon might not have been the first victim, but she may have triggered the killer's downfall. As pressure mounted, investigators combed through phone records, GPS data, and hundreds of tips. They created a detailed profile: male, organized, intelligent, likely living nearby, possibly married, and with access to burlap, a material commonly used in landscaping and construction. Over time, a theory emerged that the killer might live within driving distance of Gilgo Beach and return to the site multiple times to dispose of bodies. But for years, there was no solid lead. Then, in 2022, a breakthrough came. Detectives revisiting the original evidence uncovered new forensic matches, particularly DNA on the burlap and hair found near the victims. Modern genealogy testing helped narrow the search. In 2023, after more than a decade of speculation, police arrested Rex Hoyerman, a 59-year-old architect from Massapequa Park, Long Island, just 15 miles from Gilgo Beach. To the outside world, Hoyerman was a family man, a businessman, an ordinary suburban neighbor. But investigators believed he was hiding a double life, one of violence, obsession, and control. Hoyerman fit the profile almost perfectly. He was methodical, socially awkward, and had a deep knowledge of the local area. Detectives linked him to burner phones used to contact multiple victims. They discovered disturbing searches on his computer, hundreds of violent and fetish-related images and evidence suggesting he had tracked the families of his victims online. DNA found on the burlap and a hair recovered from one of the victims matched Hoyerman's household. In July 2023, he was charged with the murders of Megan Waterman, Amber Costello, and Melissa Barthelemy, and named the prime suspect in the killing of Maureen Brainerd Barnes. The revelation shocked the nation. For over a decade, LISK had been a phantom, a faceless shadow haunting Long Island's coast. And now the face of that monster was an unassuming man living in plain sight, commuting to Manhattan, working as an architect, and hiding trophies of his crimes in his home. Neighbors described him as strange but harmless. His co-workers said he was quiet, meticulous, even boring. But behind that mask was a predator. Yet, even with Hoyerman's arrest, questions remain. Is he truly responsible for all 11 victims, or only some? Could there be more than one killer operating along the same stretch of highway? Some investigators believe multiple offenders may have used Gilgo Beach as a dumping ground over the years, overlapping their crimes. The inconsistencies between the victims, gender, method, and condition support that chilling theory. As the case continues in court, the families of the victims still wait for closure. Mothers and sisters who spent years searching now watch every hearing, hoping for truth, hoping for justice. The arrest has brought relief, but also pain. Because even with a suspect behind bars, the darkness of what happened along Gilgo Beach can never truly be erased. The Long Island serial killer case isn't just about one man. It's about a system that overlooked missing women, many of whom were dismissed because of their professions. It's about communities that ignored warning signs. And it's about how, for over a decade, a killer could move unseen through the heart of suburbia, leaving behind a trail of silence and sand. As dawn rises over Gilgo Beach, the ocean still whispers against the shore, washing over the place where so many lives ended. Somewhere in those waves lies the truth, whether it's buried in evidence, in memory, or in the mind of a killer who finally ran out of time. But one thing is certain: the darkness of Long Island has finally been brought into the light. This is Dark Case Files, And this was the Long Island serial killer unmasking the LISK.